Hi, my name is Maria. I'm 30 years old. I'm based in London and I'm an actress. And I want to reflect on my acting career. I can hear you say, "What acting career?" I looked at your IMDb. There's barely anything there. Okay, Karen, I didn't ask for your opinion, did I? I graduated in 2021 from a part time 2 year acting program, and I've been navigating this career ever since. So I want to reflect on my wins, my failures, reflect on how I feel about this career, how I feel about this industry. Is it worth continuing? Do I want to continue? Because I think these are questions that a lot of actors are asking themselves, especially if things are not really going their way, especially when they feel their career doesn't really look like what they imagined when they started. So let's start with failures. I had a lot of failures, a lot of rejection since I started. A lot. I had a lot of moments when I was asking myself, what am I even doing with this career? Why am I doing this project now? I don't even want to be here. I invested a lot of time and money in things that didn't really benefit me in any way. A lot of failure, a lot of rejection, which is expected, right, when you're just starting out. And I also had what I call my 3 big fat failures. And I want to dive into those big fat failures because I feel this is something that you can actually learn from. This is something that can actually be useful to you. So, big fat failure number one is, oh, this one's fucking hilarious. I was let go from my first feature film role before the production even began. So I was asked to do this small role in an independent feature film, and after a grueling rehearsal process, which I wasn't even paid for, by the way, the writer slash producer slash director of this film decided that I wasn't right for the role anymore, and they hired someone else. And it was really painful at the time. I I was really hurt. The writer director of this project was also my acting coach. Uh, they were a kind of mentor figure for me, someone I looked up to, someone I trusted, which turned out to be a big mistake. And I remember I was still doing some work for that person in a different capacity. I was working on something completely different, but I was in the same building where the actors were rehearsing for that film. And while I was working on something else, I could hear them rehearsing, and I could hear and I saw the girl that got the job instead of me. And fuck me, it hurt. It felt fucking gross, guys. It felt. But, and here's a lesson for you, that production turned out to be a nightmare. The actors who were involved in that I know personally experienced some awful behavior, some terrible fucking behavior from that writer director. And the film never actually got made. It was never finished. So I wouldn't even have that credit. All I would have is trauma, mate. All I would have is fucking trauma. And I think being let go from that project was a canon event for me because it was a wake up call. I realized that giving anyone this much power, giving this much weight to anyone's words or opinion of you in this industry, it's never healthy. It's never a good thing. And this event, this rejection, it pushed me to change the way I work, change the way I think about this industry, change the things I believe in, change my acting process, change how I take care of myself in this industry. One of the things that this person used to say was actors should never take care of themselves. I actually realized that taking care of yourself as an actor, as a creative in the acting industry or in any creative industry, taking care of yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, financially. Jesus Christ, financially is so important, guys. Please don't neglect your finances just because you're a creative. Being a starving artist is not cute. It's not cute. As an actor, and probably as a lot of creatives, as an actor, you're working with your with your body, with your nervous system, with your psyche. It's all very delicate stuff, so you need to take care of it. Okay, big fat failure number 2. I was let go from my first agent. Ooh. I signed with this agent a couple of months after graduation in 2021. And guys, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I had no idea who I was, how to position myself in the industry. This agent had a lot of well established, experienced actors, people who knew what they were doing. And guys, I had no idea what I was doing at that point. I didn't know what was going on. And if I'm being completely honest with myself and with you guys, at that point in my career, I was not an asset for this agent. I really wasn't. I needed a lot of development, a lot of guidance, and they were simply too busy with other actors on their books, people who were more experienced, people who knew who they were, and people who knew what they were doing. And there was something else about this agent that wasn't working for me. One agent that was emailing me, that I was interacting with, their communication style, I found it intimidating. I found it maybe a little bit rude at times. There was one instance where I booked out because I was going to shoot a film in Poland. I was directing a short film, and I emailed like 2 months before saying, hey, I am not available on those dates. And after that, after booking out, I had 2 auditions come through for that time period when I was in Poland shooting. So I emailed back saying, thank you so much for this opportunity. Unfortunately, as per my last email, I'm not available on those dates. And the email I got from them in response, I mean, hold on, let me just find it. Let me find the email. I mean, I don't think I can read the whole thing. And the ending of that email said, I would also like to believe an actor would jump at every opportunity to be seen by industry people, especially when you are yet to have a valid / recognizable credit. Did you guys feel how condescending that was? Whoo! I really don't like when people speak to me in that way, let me tell you. I replied politely that I wasn't on holiday, I was working on a film as a director. A couple of weeks after, we were in Poland shooting, and I get an email from them saying, we're sorry, but we feel like this isn't going anywhere. I remember my mates from cast and crew going, oh shit. But I mean, I could clearly see this wasn't working out. So even though being let go by an agent can sting, it can hurt, absolutely. But in that moment, it didn't really hurt me that much because I knew this wasn't the right agent for me. Big fat failure number 3. This one still hurts a little bit. A little bit, just a little bit. I was in a long audition process for a lead role in a feature film, independent feature film. It looked great. It had a well-established director attached. They've worked on, Hollywood films with A-listers. The casting director for this project was one of the most established casting directors in the independent film space. So this independent film was the kind of film you could see winning big awards. The kind of independent film that could potentially change your whole career, especially when you're just starting out. I went through the first round of callbacks, second round of callbacks, and after the second round of callbacks, my agent received an email saying that unfortunately didn't work out. And I was sad. I was so sad. I was sad. I was feeling a little bit sorry for myself. I was lucky enough to have people around me who didn't allow me to indulge in that self-pity. And I was lucky enough to have worked through some of my mental health issues so that this didn't feel like the end of the world. After a while, I allowed myself to reframe this experience as a positive one because, I mean, I got to second round of callbacks. That's great. I'm not a very spiritual person. I'm not very woo-woo, but I believe that what's meant for you will not pass you by. I believe that if something is not meant for you, I mean, you will just not get it, no matter how sad you feel. Let's talk about things that I've actually accomplished. I've got a list here. Yes, a whole fucking list of things I've achieved, guys. Amazing, isn't it? I had two very small roles in two very independent, very low budget feature films. I booked my first very, very small TV series slash streaming role this year. Yeah, it only took me 4 years to book my first TV credit. Like, Jesus. Okay. I think I did between 15 and 20 short films. I honestly can't remember the exact number. And out of these short films, 4 were written, produced, and directed by me. I did one web series, which I also wrote, co directed, and co produced. And I'm very proud of it. And it was the first thing I worked on with my very talented friend Delphine and my very talented friend George. And yeah, it was great. I love it. I'm still super proud of it. Like I said before, I also directed one short film with an actual budget that I wasn't acting in, I was just directing. We shot that in Poland in 2023, and it was a great experience with a great crew. And I learned a lot. It was great. I've written a shit ton of showreel scenes for other people, some of which I even got paid for. I've written a lot of scenes for myself, a lot of monologues for myself as well, some of which I still have on my casting profiles. I was an acting teacher for a while. I was teaching foundations in acting and screen acting, mainly for beginners. I really miss it. I really, really enjoyed it. I currently have one agent in the UK and one agent in Poland. I didn't track my auditions, but if I were to give you an estimate, I would say within those 4 years, I had over 200 auditions altogether. That includes self tapes, that includes in person auditions, callbacks. I had countless headshot sessions, countless workshops, countless acting classes, casting director workshops, all of that good stuff. So, when I look at this now, after 4 years, I'm like, I've done a lot, it's a lot. But if I told myself from 4 years ago, my morbidly ambitious, horribly perfectionist self from 4 years ago, my 26-year-old self, if I told her, this is what I've achieved, these are all my credits to date, this is where my career is at, I think she would be a little bit disappointed. I really think she would be disappointed. I think she would assume that 4 years should be enough to have a number of small TV credits under your belt and some lead roles in some low budget features and some, great stuff. Just like a really solid acting CV. But that didn't happen. 26-year-old me was, she was, yeah, she didn't know shit about shit. When I was 26, a part of me believed that if I didn't make it before I hit 30, if I didn't have a number of recognizable credits on my CV by the time I hit 30, I think my 26-year-old self believed that that would mean I failed. I think she put an expiry date on herself. And that's so sad, and I don't want to cry, but it's sad. It's sad. And that is just so sad that we as women internalize this idea that we have an expiry date. And it's really sad that I felt that I was already a bit too old to break into the industry at 26. Too old at 26. What the actual fuck? Ah! But my 26-year-old self, she has the right to be disappointed because my career doesn't look like what she imagined it would look like 4 years in. So, big question. If my career doesn't look like what I imagined it would look like at this point, is it time to give up? No, of course not. I wouldn't be making this video if I thought it was time to give up. And it's not like, my career is amazing and I have a million different bookings lined up. Scorsese is calling me on one line, but I can't talk to him because I have Greta Gerwig on the other line. It's not like that, no. I'm not giving up because what changed in those 4 years is my understanding of what this career actually looks like for a working actor, someone who has been in this career for 10, 15, 25, 40 years. I realized what it means to be a working actor and a functioning, healthy, happy human being. I understand the work, the flexibility, the financial savviness that goes into sustaining an acting career. Anyone can decide to be an actor, right? I'm gonna get some headshots, I'm gonna get a reel, I'm gonna email some agents and then maybe eventually get one. But I think the trick is to build your life around your acting career. There are so many things you have to do that have nothing to do with acting to sustain your acting career, to make it sustainable long term. And I'm not talking about for the next year or so, I'm talking about 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years if you're lucky. I understand now that it takes a while to build a career. And people say that, but when you actually understand it, you're like, oh shit, fuck, I'm in this for the long run. I also understood, and it was a hard pill to swallow, that as someone from a working class, low income background, as an immigrant, as someone who has a foreign accent, it might take a little bit longer for me to find my ground in this industry. It might take a little bit longer for my career to take off, or whatever you want to call it, but it's very likely that it's going to take longer than for someone who, for example, is middle class British, has an RP accent, went to one of the top drama schools, and someone who had both financial and emotional support from their parents. It might take a little bit longer, but it's not impossible. If it was impossible, I would probably not be making this video because I'm not naturally a very optimistic person, so I'll probably give up. I'm not very delulu. Maybe I should be more delulu. But it's all good because I'm way more patient now at 30 than I was at 26 and less desperate. Jesus, I was desperate at 26. I'm building this career slowly but consistently, bit by bit. And let's see what happens. If you're an actor and you're tired and you're frustrated with this career and with yourself and you feel like giving up, maybe try taking a break first and then see if this is still something you want to do. Because one thing I actually hate seeing is people with potential giving up on their dream. I don't know why I take it so personally, but I do. I don't like seeing talented, hardworking people give up. So if you're just starting out as an actor, or if you're in the same place as me, or you're, years down the line, let me know how's this career for you? How has it been for you? How is this career treating you? Let me know. I love hearing from other actors, so just share it with me wherever you want to. I think I will be sharing more of those career reflections in the future because, just talking about it helps me to process it. Yeah. So thank you for watching. I appreciate you, and I hope to see you soon.